battles. First it was fragrance, then it turns to fire. My worship is my weapon. This is how I win my battles. First it was fragrance, then it turned to fire. My worship is my weapon. This is how I win my battles. This is a win, win, win. This is how I win. Welcome to Head to Head, the first edition for the month of March. And we are in war mode. We are in war mode and victory is assured. I'm speaking to every Nigerian youth that can hear me. No one will silence our voice. Our collective power is our strength. And the purpose of God for our nation, the purpose of God for our generation, the new Nigerian dream is not a man's idea. It's God's idea. It's a prophecy. And I join my voice tonight to every young-hearted, young, vibrant Nigerian youth who stood out last week Saturday to do what is called your civic responsibility, but what I like to call our divine responsibility. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, and we obey that voice, we obey that clarion call. And I just want to assure you tonight, do not lose hope, do not lose courage. Nigeria's future cannot be ruptured. It has been captured and scripted in scriptures that for you to take a strong man's house, you have to bind a strong man. We have done what we can, and we are handing over the rest to the energy of God's Spirit. Welcome to Head tonight. Is going to be a great night. I'm waiting for more people to join before we start tonight. So please, can you send this video to some of your friends as we wait for more people to join. Let me also wish you a happy new month. Welcome to the month of March. Tonight I'm talking about, we are talking about marching to the top in pursuit of purpose. Marching to the top in pursuit of purpose. My name is Mr. Purpose International, Africa's premier purpose and self-discovery coach, largely to teenagers, but now we have expanded our reach to young people. So you're welcome. I'm the founder of the Purpose Discovery Academy, formerly called the Purpose School. It was founded in the year 2011. So we've done extensive work with teenagers and young people, helping young people find purpose at an early age and then growing in that discovery to self-mastery and then to life mastery. So you're welcome on board. What we're going to be talking tonight, I assure you, will transform your life, will inform you, impact you, and also inspire you. I assure you. The guest I have tonight is, according to our rating, and our rating is global rating, is one of Africa's finest top performance coaches. Is a certified life coach from the Olushola Academy. Is a certified management consultant from the NIM, Nigerian Institute of Management. He's been my friend for a couple of years. He's a resourceful mind. And by God's grace, yours truly talking to you right now. I'm also a certified life purpose coach, and I've been doing extensive work with young people. And to the glory of God, this is what God called me to do, to help you find purpose and come into mastery of your purpose. Tonight, we're talking about marching to the top in pursuit of purpose. I'm going to use three unique complementary stories from the Bible tonight to establish a foundation before I bring in our guest. And coincidentally, the three stories are from the book of Kings. 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 19, 2 Kings the first story is from, yes, 1 Kings 19, verse 19. Second story is from 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3. And the third story is all back to 1 Kings. That's a coincidence. All right. So the first story is the story of Elisha responding to his purpose, to his calling, and following Elijah. The second story is the story of the 4 lepers at the city gates of Samaria when the entire country was in despondency. They were in great lack and penury. A country was broke, busted, and disgusted. There was so much famine to the point that people had started eating their own children. But there was a prophecy over that nation of Samaria, and God used 4 lepers who were disabled in their legs but were not disabled in their minds and their spirit to bring about the prophecy over the entire nation of Nigeria. Tonight I'm going to be challenging you watching me, no matter your age, no matter your race, no matter your color, especially if you're a Nigerian tonight. There is a call of God upon your life to march forward, to march to the top in a pursuit of God's purpose. And that purpose, one of the reasons why you are born a Nigerian and any other nation you are watching from, but tonight I'm particularly speaking to the Nigerian youth, is to be the solution to this nation's problem. All right, so God used 4 lepers who were disabled in their limbs, but I'm going to show you how they activated what you can also activate this month of March to march forward quickly, because there's a prophecy over your life and over this nation. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Then the third story that I've crafted, the few points I'm going to share before I invite Mo Oladapo, is from 1 Kings chapter 20. The story of King Ben-Hadad when he was attacked by Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, was attacked by certain kings, but he marched against that attack and he overcame that attack. So let me just start. I may not have time to read all the verses, but for you to go back home to your Bible and read 1 Kings chapter 19. Let me just read verse 19 of chapter 19. So Elijah went from there and found Elisha. It's very crucial for some of the things I'm going to say tonight. So Elijah went from there and found Elisha, son of Shaphat. He was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen, and he himself was driving the 12th pair. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. That was his mantle, to show that there's a purpose of God higher than this natural occupation you are currently occupied with, right? Prophet Elisha was a rich farmer. At that time, before the purpose of God was revealed to him, he was managing his father's natural business. But here comes, like the most sought after prophet in Israel at that time, Elijah, coming to announce and anoint and also appoint him as his successor. Elisha did something in verse 21. So Elisha left him. Okay, rather, let me go back to verse 20. Elisha then left his oxen and ran after Elijah. "Let me kiss my father and my mother goodbye," he said, "and then I will come with you." "Go back," Elijah said. "What have I to do with you?" So Elisha quickly left him, went back, took his yoke and oxen and slaughtered them. Underline this phrase if it's your own Bible. Make sure you didn't borrow it from your friend or your neighbor. He burned the plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people, and then he ate. All right. So let me jump to the next story. I want to read all the stories before I begin to just share the points, and then I will invite Mo Oladapo in. Now, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 7. Very important. Nigeria looks like this story right now. 2 Kings chapter 7, let me start from verse 1. Elisha said, here, now this same Elisha here had started practicing in his purpose. Elijah had been taken away, and he now stepped into that prophetic office. So, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Lord says. about this time tomorrow, a seah of flour will sell for a shekel, and 2 seahs of barley for a shekel at the gate of Samaria. The officer on whose arm the king was leaning said to the man of God, look, even if the Lord should open the floodgates of heavens, could this happen? Some of you might be doubting that the prophecy over Nigeria, can it ever come to pass? Can the great destiny over my life, can it become a physical reality? There are things that you ought to do, and I'm going to share some of them tonight. But especially if you're in the nation of Nigeria and you happen to hop on this video anytime soon, you need to quickly activate the things you will hear in this live teaching tonight. Don't postpone it, okay? Elisha said you will see it with your own eyes, but you will not eat any of it. Now, there were 4 men with leprosy at the entrance of the city gate. The reason why they were at the entrance of the city gate was because once you are a leprous man, you are considered as an outcast. You are considered as someone who cannot mingle with the elite of the society. Okay, but God does not consult your past to decide your future. Once God's purpose comes to you, it will perfect you. God does not call the perfect, God perfects the called. I'll say that again. God does not call the perfect, God perfects the called. The purpose of God, once it's revealed to you, what you have to do is to respond to it, to march forward quickly so that the prophecy can become a policy in your life. I'll say that again. Once God's purpose is revealed to you, you need to learn how to march forward so that the prophecy can become a policy in your life. If you are watching, can you please help me type that in the comment section right now? For you to march to the top, you need to learn how to move swiftly so that the prophecy of God over your life will become a policy, a practical policy that is activated in the natural realm. Now watch this. There were 4 leprous men at the gate. They said to each other, why stay here until we die? If we say we'll go into the city, the famine is there and we will die. And if we stay here, we will die as well. So let us go over to the camp of the Arameans and surrender ourselves. If they spare us, we live. If they kill us, then we die. At dusk, these 4 leprous men, remember they had leprosy on their feet, but they were not lame in their minds. They marched forward to the camp of the Arameans, but when they reached the edge of the camp, not a man was there. Follow the story. I'm reading the story before I share the points. No man was there, for the Lord had caused the Arameans to hear the sound of chariots and horses and a great army. Please note this. When God gives you a revelation of his purpose for your life, it will be way bigger than you. It will be way bigger than where you are. It will require you to take steps of faith. But you must also note and recognize this. When you take small steps towards your big dreams daily, then the big God would enlarge your steps under you. When you take small steps in the pursuit of your big dreams, then the big God will enlarge your small steps under you to bring about his purpose, his prophecy over your life. More Oladapo, thank you, welcome. I've seen you. I'll bring you in a few minutes. So these 4 leprous men went forward, marched forward because they changed their thinking. Okay, and the prophecy over Samaria came to pass. I don't have a lot of time. And then the last story is in 1 Kings chapter 20. 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 20. Let me read verse 1 first. Now Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, mustered his entire army and accompanied by 32 kings with their horses and chariots, and he went and besieged Samaria and attacked it. He sent messengers into the city to Ahab, the king of Israel, saying, this is what Ben-Hadad says, your silver and gold are mine, and the best of your wives and the children and your children are mine. The king of Israel answered, just as you say, my lord. And I and all I have are yours. To cut a long story short, the king was attacked by 32 kings. 32 kings came against one king, trying to cripple his faith. They wanted to take over his city. But there was something they did, which I'm going to share. You have to read this entire story all the way to verse 20. Verse 19 said, the young officers of the provincial commanders marched out of the city with the army behind them, and each one struck down his opponent. At that, the Arameans that came against them fled with the Israelites in pursuit. But Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, escaped on horseback with some of his horsemen. So this man that came and attacked King Ahab eventually ran away because this king did some specific things. Let me just establish a few things, then I would invite our guest tonight. The first 5 points I want you to write down is this. Number one, your purpose is not just about finding what to live for, but what you are willing to die for in order to live. For you to march to the top of your industry, to march to the top of your field, you must understand that God's purpose is something you must be willing to die for in order for you to live. It's something beyond just living to earn a living, not just working to earn money. You must come to a place in your heart where you have a disposition that I'm ready to die for this cause, and that's when you will be fit to live. Jesus said it best. He said, except a corn of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abides alone. The second thing about God's purpose is that it's your life's assignment that requires all of your equipment. It's your life's assignment that requires all of your equipment. Let's go back to Elijah's story. So Elisha left him and went back. He took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them. He burned the plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people. When God gives you a revelation of his purpose for your life, you must be willing to let go of everything you may have built to that point to begin with God. Because the list of God's plan does not equal is far greater than the best of your own plans. I don't have so much time. I just want to lay these points down before I invite more Oladapo in. The third thing you must realize about God's purpose for you to march to the top, it will be bigger than you at the beginning, but will cause you to grow bigger as you pursue it. Your faith will grow bigger. Your courage will grow bigger. Your confidence will grow bigger. Your money will grow bigger. Your network will grow bigger. But if you never pursue God's purpose for your life and you're just looking at the vision in your mind, with your mind's eye, and you are feeling overwhelmed, it will become a nightmare. It might start as a dream, but if you never march out and pursue it, it will grow so big in your mind that it will overwhelm you. Okay, and it might just become a nightmare. The fourth thing you must know, for you to fulfill God's purpose, it will require you find and follow an uncommon mentor for you to fulfill God's purpose over your life. We see that in the story of Elisha again. For you to find and follow an uncommon mentor that will release certain graces into your life, that will release certain wisdom that you can't get in any school or institution. Okay? These are established laws of top performance, of matching to the top of your industry. You find, then you follow an uncommon mentor. Please write that in the comment section. You find and follow an uncommon mentor so that you can get to the top of your own industry. Okay? I don't want to talk about how to find a mentor tonight. Now, there are 4 mindsets you must have in place for you to march to the top of your industry. There are 4 mindsets that you must install in your mind. Okay? The first mindset is the mindset that will cause you to attack your fears. You must attack your fears. You must attack your fears. Attack your attackers. Attack your fears. You see that in the stories I read. Because what you are afraid of is actually afraid of you. Please, somebody write that in the comment section. What you are afraid of is afraid of you. In this month of March, attack your fears. Write down the things you are afraid of, then attack them one day at a time. Don't rush at all of them. Attack them one day at a time. We can see that again in the story I read from 2 Kings or 1 Kings chapter 20. It says the young officers of the provincial command marched out of the city with the army behind them, and each one struck down his own opponent. Each one struck down his own opponent. So what are you afraid of? Why have you not marched out, stepped out in pursuit of God's purpose for your life? Is it finance? Attack your fears. Is it what people will say? Attack your fears. Nobody has done it before in my family. Attack your fears. Attack your fears. The second mindset is you must attack your ignorance. Attack your ignorance. So somebody please help me type this. The mindsets to have in place. Attack your fears, number one, is an acronym for FIRE. F-I-R-I. Attack your fears. Number two, attack your ignorance. That's why you must find a mentor to follow. You not to learn, because we see here that the Bible says here that then Elijah burned the plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people. Then he set out to follow Elijah and became his student, became his attendant. So attack your ignorance by finding an uncommon mentor to follow and learn from that mentor. Because the quantity of your learning determines the quality of your earnings. The quantity of your learning determines the quality of your earnings. Third point, you must attack your relief belief. You must attack your relief belief. For you to march to the top, march out of your comfort zone. That's what this third point is saying. Attack your relief belief. You must attack the thoughts that say that it must be convenient. It must be easy. I want it easy. I want everything to be hunky-dory. I want the fruits to just fall on my lap like a wild cherry. That is not the young people of this generation. We are used to desiring the least resistant path. If it's God's purpose you want to fulfill, you must have this mindset that says, if it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. It's not going to be up to God. It has to be you resolving to dissolve your fears, to dissolve your ignorance, and then you get yourself up and pursue your dreams. If you need to go submit yourself to a mentor, you need to get out of your comfort zone and begin the journey this month of March, right? One wise man once said, if the path is beautiful, ask where it leads. But if the destination is beautiful, don't mind the path. Can somebody help me type that? If the path is beautiful, you should be mindful and ask, where does this path lead to? But if the destination is beautiful, then do not mind the path. We're talking tonight on marching to the top in pursuit of purpose. If you're going to get to the top of your industry, you're going to get to the top of your calling, whatever your purpose is, these four mindsets must be in place. The mindset that fire has. When fire comes against anything, it burns it down. Fire. We saw how fire gutted down an entire complex a few months ago in Festac. So you must have the mindset that fire has. F stands for attack your fears. All right. Second thing is attack your ignorance. If you ignore your ignorance in private, your ignorance will not ignore you in public. Okay. So this month, attack your relief belief. Don't look for what is comfortable. Look for what was committed to you before you were born. And that's the last point I had to share. It will require you being committed and remain submitted to God to fulfill it. For you to march to the top of your industry, it will require you being committed It requires you being committed to being submitted to God. Time, I'm going to invite my friend and our guest for tonight to come add his priceless wisdom to the topic tonight. Our guest is a top performance coach who is a certified life coach as well from the Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy. He's a certified management consultant. His certification was gotten from the Management Institute of Nigeria. He's a top performance coach who gathers young people every week in the top performance community. Mo, I'm trying to invite you in. Please, can you accept the invitation? Okay, I'll try that again. I'll try that again. Okay, while we're waiting for Mr. Reverend Mo, like I call him, Reverend Mo, to join us, please, if you have any questions, please be free to um, ask. If you have any questions tonight, please feel free to ask your questions so that we can address them. Feel free to ask your questions so that we can address them. I shared 5 points that you must know about your purpose. Your purpose is not just finding what to live for, but what you must be willing to die for in order to live. Okay? The second thing is that your purpose is your life's assignment that will require all of your present equipment. We saw that in the life of Elisha. He quickly took off and burned the bridge. You must be willing to burn the bridge that will take you back to your past if you're going to walk with God and go into your future. Okay? You must be willing to burn the bridge to your past and go into your future. The third thing that you must be willing to do is that your purpose will be bigger than you at the beginning, but you must be willing to step out, because once you pursue your purpose, you will begin to grow bigger than where you were. Okay, just waiting for the connection to stabilize here. Fourthly, it will require that you find an uncommon mentor to follow. You find an uncommon mentor to follow. And then the fifth point I shared is that it will require you being committed. It will require being committed to remain submitted to God to fulfill his purpose and plans. It's like being a pilot of a plane, like being a pilot of a plane, and you disconnect your earplugs and you start receiving instructions from the control tower. You may never arrive at your destination. You may never arrive at your destination. So for you to fulfill God's purpose, it requires being committed to remaining submitted to him. We're having some challenges connecting to Emo Oladapo. Emo, if you can hear me, please can you request to join again? Can you request to join again? We are going to sort this in a bit. Okay, so while we wait for the connection to permit us to start our conversation, I also talked about the four mindsets that must be in place. The mindset of fire, the mindset that can help you march forward, march to the top of your industry, march to the top of your discovery about God's purpose for your life. Your calling will require that you evolve into a new person, that you dissolve your old mindset and you embrace a new thinking pattern. The first thing to do is to attack your fears. You must attack your fears. The second thing to do is, by attacking your fears, you must be willing to take small steps daily towards your big dreams. You must be willing to take small steps daily towards your big dreams. And if you don't take those baby steps, you may never learn how to walk. I have two children. I've watched them learn how to walk. And one of the things about children is that they are not afraid to try. They are explorers by nature. So don't become so old quickly in your mind that you are afraid to learn how to walk with God. You must be willing to learn to walk with God. I seem not to be able to see you, Mo. Mo, I am trying to invite you in, but I can't find you on my request button. So Instagram must permit. We speak to the network tonight. Okay, I'm going live now with the top performer, and it's going to work now. It's going to work now. Yes. Okay. Wow.
Finally.
Yes. We have the mindset of fire. Whatever obstacle fire faces, fire says is either you give way, or I go through you, or I burn you down. I was just talking about the four mindsets to install this month of March, enable to pursue your purpose. Okay? I talked about attacking your fears, attacking your ignorance, attacking your belief. Because some people just think to get to the top, they want it to be comfortable. They look for the path of least resistance. They say, okay, but the Bible says with God all things are possible. Correct. All things are possible. They didn't say all things are going to be easy. That's why scripture says endure hardness as a soldier. Okay. So the mindset, then the fourth mindset is to attack your excuses. To attack your excuses. I shared 3 stories. Coincidentally, all of them are from the book of 1 Kings chapter 19, 1 Kings chapter 20, and 2 Kings chapter 7. The lepers, they had the excuse that we are lepers, we can't walk, we are outcasts. But when they asked the right questions, then they began to take the right steps. So you are a top performance coach, and I would like you to now talk to our viewers tonight in the direction of the methods that for people to be able to pursue their purpose and get to the top. The next thing they now need to do is to install the right methods, because I believe that prophecy without the right strategy will still lead to a waste of energy. Prophecy without the right strategy will still lead to a waste of energy. And that's why the greatest stars employ the best of coaches. And that's why you are Africa's, one of the Africa's finest top performance coaches. And I do not say that to flatter you. I've heard feedback from people that that have engaged you to coach them. And one of them is Eunice. I can see the transformation in her life since.
Oh
How's
my
your
God.
day been, man?
Good man, good man. Thank you for having me. I just came in not too long ago, so it's good.
All right. So on a lighter note, how was um, how was the elections at your end last week? Was it peaceful? How was it in your end?
It was okay. I think my area was one of the peaceful areas. Agor was
I
we
got
didn't
last
have
week.
much of violence here. Maybe a few hiccups, but not too much violence. It was just okay. It's okay.
All right. All right. Okay. So let's just get right straight into it. For those who are meeting you for the first time, could you please just introduce yourself in your professional capacities so that we can establish your credibility tonight on the topic?
Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Mo Oladapo, certified life coach, management trainer, brand strategist, and motivational speaker. So that's how I introduce myself, to people. I help people to achieve top performance. I am on a campaign. I'm on a mission to help people unleash their sleeping giants so that they can achieve all that God has created them to be. I believe people have sleeping giants. We all have sleeping giants, and until that giant is been awoken, we will continually play on a level that is beneath us. So I have devised, created, designed a couple of things that I do to help people truly manifest greatness. So basically, that is who you are talking with right now.
Wow. So thank you so much for joining us. Some of you may not know Mr. Mo Oladapo. He was in a speaking engagement just some minutes ago and he breezed in from there. You know, the normal average person would have said, "Oh, I have a speaking engagement. I will not be able to make it." And that was the fourth point I was saying, that for you to match to the top of your industry, you must attack your excuses. You must have the mindset that does not tolerate excuses. So
Yeah.
let's begin from there. My first question to you tonight is, can everyone achieve top performance? Can everyone achieve top performance? Is top performance for everyone or for anyone?
All right. Good question. Great question to start with. First of all, let me enlighten people what we mean by top performance, because while that word or that phrase might look as though it's self-explanatory, it might also be very vague to some people. So top performance is actually your ability to live on the edge of your potential per time. Your ability to live on the edge of your potential per time.
Your
It is your
ability
ability
to
to
live on the
live on the
edge
edge
of
of
your
your potential
potential.
per time. It is also the ability for you to exhaust your capacity per level. Your ability to exhaust your capacity per level. So there is every level you get to in life. At that level, you must exhaust your capacity at that level. That's what we mean by top performance. So when we say somebody is a top performer, it means two things. Number one, he's living at the edge of his potential per time, because your
Powerful.
potential is like an elastic. As you keep on
Mm.
using it, it stretches,
Expanding.
it
Mm.
expands. Thank you. So at that level or at its elastic limit at that time, you should be able to live on that. You should be able to express your potential at that level. Number two, when we say someone's a top performer, it means at every level you exhaust your capacity. So your capacity is that space you have created by reason of use of your potential. Every time you use your potential, every time you make a demand on your potential or your ability, what happens is that you create a capacity. That capacity you have created, what happens is that you must exhaust that capacity to its limits until you break into another level. So a top performer is somebody that lives on the edge of his potential and exhausts his capacity per level to
Per
achieve,
level and per time.
yes, per
Wow.
level and per time. So
Wow.
that's very critical. Because some people will say, oh, I'm not successful. I can't call myself a top performer. No, everyone can be a top performer at every level that you are. There are people that don't give their best to anything. They don't give their best, even though they have the innate potential. By their track record, by their antecedents, you can see that they can give much more, but they aren't. And that limits their top performance. But you see, there are other people who, even with limited resources, with limited help and support, you can see with all evidence that they are giving their best per time and at that level. And this causes them to go into new levels and experience new things. So the question is, can everybody achieve top performance? Yes, everyone is meant to achieve top performance. Everyone is supposed to be on the edge of their potential, and everyone is supposed to exhaust their capacity if they really want to live a life of relevance and success. Success. And most importantly, because of what you're talking about, if you're going to achieve your purpose, because you can't achieve your purpose without getting a vantage point. So top performance positions you into a vantage point, or what I call a position of advantage, where it is easy for you to achieve your purpose. So if you're not striving for top performance, there is no way you can even smell your purpose. Purpose is only possible when you get in the position you are meant to. Because until you get into the position, there are certain resources that will not be available to you. There are certain connections you will never make. There are certain allocation by life's design that are meant to reach you. There are certain allocation. See, listen, even people who are not religious, who are not churchy, they understand that life by design releases certain things to them when they get into a certain position. So let me give an example. Whether you are religious or not, if you go to school and you get your degree, you are more likely to get a job than someone who didn't go to school. Even though life can also give those people opportunities. But you who went to school, who you have your degree, you are most likely, it's not even going to be a prayer point. Why? You got into a position where it is easier for you to access life's resources. So top performance is also the same way. It gets you into a vantage point where it is easy. So people look at me and you now, touching lives, doing stuff, and say, oh, you guys are fulfilling your purpose. We are only fulfilling purpose is because we are exhausting our capacity per level. We are living on the edge of our potential. That's it.
Wow. So yes, that's such a powerful answer. To summarize what you just said, to answer that question, that means the key to my next level is in this level. So rather than me yearning for the next level, I must ensure that I exhaust my capacity to perform at this level and at this time. Which takes me to my next question. So why does it seem that some people, no matter how hard they try, never achieve top performance? Why does it seem some people never achieve top performance, no matter how they try? And some of them even now begin to blame it on external factors. For the religious person, the person can just attribute that to some satanic forces. That's why I read 3 different stories from the Bible, right? The first story was about Elisha. Elisha seemed to have been successful at that level. He was comfortable, but a call came upon his life and said, hey, you are to succeed Elijah. And he responded, right? The second was a king that was attacked by 32 kings, but he still marched forward and overcame that obstacle before him. The third story, there were 4 lepers. 4 didn't have legs to walk, but God used their inability to bring about the prophecy that was already hanging in the air. And Nigeria is in such a crucial time whereby young people need to hear this kind of truth, that no matter what happened at the elections, don't let that bring you into so much dejection that you forsake God's personal plan for your life. So that's why I'm asking this question. Why does it seem some people, no matter how hard they try, never seem to just achieve that vantage point?
Okay, so let me use one of my latest research that I discovered. So there is a there is a saying I have. You are the only one that can stop you from being you. You are the only one that can stop you from being you. So let me explain this. There are three yous. There are three versions of yourself. There are three versions of ourselves. We have the past us, we have the present us, and we have the future us. At every point in time, there's an interaction with this version. So, like how Marvel is trying to sell to us, you know, different multiverse of ourselves. But this time, it's our past, is our present, is our future. So what I've realized is that our past is a you. Our present is still a you. Our future is still a you, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Our past is the small u. The small u, the Y-O-U with small letters. That's a past.
Okay.
Our present is the U with the capital Y-O-U. Our future U is the U with all caps. That is the U we desire. But here is the thing. We have more conversations with our past than we have with our future. We have more conversation with our past you than we have with our future. That's number one. Watch this. Watch this. Number two, we allow our future you. We allow our future you to discourage our present you. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So I just wrote my book. I know I'm still going to talk about my book. I just wrote my book. And in the conversation with someone, I was asking him, I said, why haven't you written your book? And he said to me that every time I write my book, when I read my book, I'm like, nah, this is too simple. I mean, the book needs to be heavily weighty with words. It has to be intelligent. So what has happened? Just watch this magic. What has happened? That he allowed his future him,
future self,
his present him, that
he's not qualified.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
You see. So as much as our future is our desire, it could also be our limitation, because the truth is you don't live in the future. You live in today.
You live in the present. Yes.
That is why I said top performance is your ability to exhaust your capacity per level and per time.
Per level and per time.
This is the problem. A lot of us who achieve top performance, we are waiting for our future you to give us validation. Your future you can't give validation. Your future you can only give you motivation.
Motivation. And
your present you is your inspiration. The fact that you made it to that level is all you need. So what people need to do is to be able to manage their conversation with their versions. You must ensure that if your version is not pulling you down, your past can tell you, listen, you know what? You tried this before, it didn't work. So don't try it again. And that you is right. You failed in the past. It's correct. But it's not true for the future. In the future, you succeeded. So you cannot allow your past to allow you or drag you down to achieve. Now, your future, you can also limit you by creating
you.
Intimidation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because many of us, as much as we are future driven, we are also living in a delusion. You are so what I teach people to do is execute the small version of your big dream. Execute the small version of your big. You can't execute the big dream. As you grow into the big dream. What makes you go into the big dream is successful execution of the small dream. Why haven't you started the conference? Is because you don't want to hold a conference that has 10 people. What is wrong with having a conference with 10 people if that is your capacity? What's wrong? What is wrong with you having an IG live with only 4 people attending? What is wrong if that is your capacity? Why are you denying your capacity for a capacity you have not grown into yet? So
Mo,
you find
you know what you just said now? What you just said now reminds me of our first ever conference for teenagers in 2006. Mark my words, 2006. Can you guess how many teenagers attended? It was free, mind you, free. I invited about 8 schools. Imagine, can you guess how many teenagers attended?
10.
You have a very robust mind. I have a joke of saying it was half, not a full teenager, half. Because the only teenager that attended, he was walking past. The hall was so large, I emptied my bank account. The hall was so large, I invited a guest comedian, invited a guest guitarist. She's a rock inspirational guitarist. Invited her. I had their honorariums to pay them. No teenagers showed up.
Wow.
My volunteers were ready, video camera, everything. When I saw a teenager walking past, I grabbed him and pulled him into the hall. I said, sit down. Sit down. This program was built to bless you. Did you not see the flyer? He was laughing. He sat down. So I said, okay, since this boy is in the hall, we're going to start. So immediately we started. Guess what? He ran away. I didn't see him. He didn't. So we had his name on the registration form. We had his name on the registration form, but by the time we were starting, he had disappeared. But fast-tracked to 2-3 years later, when I checked what would we do wrong and all of that, we did a conference and we had 1,000 teenagers right in the hall. Just a few years after that. All right, which takes me to the next question for you. That is top performance a game of luck or a game of strategy? Is it a game of luck? Is it a game of strategy? You know, let me, before you answer that question, you know, in Nigeria, our football national teams, we see them cluster together before a football match to say a prayer every time. Every national team, under 17, under 20, to the senior national team, even the females do that. And I am not against prayer. I believe so much in the power of prayer. But no African team, as much as religious as we have, ever won the World Cup. You know, so well, let's come to real life stuff here. Is top performance a game of luck or a game of strategy?
It's a game of discipline. It's neither luck, it's not a strategy. It's a game of discipline. Top performance is a deliberate act of demanding more from yourself than you would on a normal day. You see, for you to emerge in your purpose, for you to emerge in the scheme of life, in the relevance of time, you must take your life off autopilot. You must take your life off default setting and begin to apply manual operation for your life. For those people who allow their lives to be run on default setting, what happens is that, you know, they walk into life hoping that life will give them this and give them that. And you know, there's a saying, hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. You must be deliberate to discipline and to design your outcomes. You must design your outcomes. You must demand from yourself and also design what outcomes you want to see in this life. That's the only way to top performance. Top performance is not for people who believe in luck. Top performance is not for people who are a supporter of, you know, providence. As much as providence has its part to play, it is not part of our design. We allow providence and life challenges to happen on the external. we control what happens on the internal and design as much as possible what we want to see on the external. So if I would allow life to happen, I won't write my book. If I would allow life to happen, I won't take the courses I want to take. If I would allow life to happen, I wouldn't develop myself in this industry of coaching and consulting as I have done today, because I will feel, I will be a proponent of that very, very misleading quote that says, what will be will be. You see, listen, if you're watching me right now, if you're a believer of that quote, just live this ideal life. I don't think you are ready for life. If you are a believer of what will be, you are living your life on default setting. What will be can never be. Can never be. There's no even scripture in the Bible that says what will be. Even God, who is the owner of heaven and earth, will not also allow us to enter into certain things until we meet certain conditions. Until you meet certain requirements, until you grow to full stature. There are many things you have to deliberately do to push yourself into a position of advantage. So when the scripture says the poor will always have in our midst, it doesn't mean that God would deliberately make some people poor. What God is saying is that there are people who will not discipline themselves to push and do what is necessary to escape poverty. So by reason of that, poor people will always be there. So God has given you options to choose. Now, how to choose the right option and follow the option is where the discipline comes in. So top performance is a product of discipline. See anybody who is living at the edge of their potential and exhausting their capacity per time, they've disciplined themselves. It takes discipline to design IG Live programs. It takes discipline to figure out who to bring as a guest. It takes discipline to schedule the time to attend a live broadcast, to manage a live. It takes discipline to sit down and write a book. It takes discipline to organize a conference and put all the things together. It takes discipline to go and submit yourself to personal development, take courses, certificates, improve yourself, attend conferences, build. Look, it takes discipline. And when you see people that don't give themselves to that discipline, what happens is that they begin to admire other people who have achieved top performance. And the rule is simple. It is a game of discipline. Listen, you and I, we are here only to the degree of the discipline we have given ourselves to. Trust me. If you give yourself to much more discipline, if you demand much more from you as a person, don't blame government, don't blame anybody who didn't help you, don't blame anybody who didn't give you platform. If you talk to yourself and say, listen, what have you been doing with your time? What have you been doing with opportunities? By the time you begin to demand more for yourself and submit yourself to discipline, you will find out that your outcomes will change. Your results will change. And will be evident to everybody. There's no magic. It's just discipline.
You just amplified one of my quotes that say those who blame others in the game of life will remain lame in the game of life. Those who blame others in the game of life will remain lame, mentally lame, emotionally lame in the game of life, because life requires discipline. All the top performing sports individuals we know, they are all disciplined. Cristiano Ronaldo, we know at 38, still banging in goals. Some people thought the Saudi Arabian league is an easy league to play in, but when they kick you is real. It's not. If you are not fit, you it's not stage managed. Those kicks and those guys there, they are very fit. Those Arabian guys, if they kick you and your fitness level is not, their bones are strong. So now I want to take you back to one of the things I said before you came on live, and I want you to please speak to that, especially to this younger generation. I mentioned that for especially young people watching this, for you to be able to get to the top of your field, especially in your purpose, I'm speaking more to purpose mastery. For you to come into a place whereby you have become the best in your field, you need to start from submitting to the best in that field. I'm talking to a young person now. So I said before you came on live that one of the requirements to fulfill your purpose is that you must find and follow an uncommon mentor to fulfill your own purpose. So I wanted to just speak to that. I just felt in my heart that a young person watching this needs to hear this, because this younger generation is as if they are averse and they hate to submit themselves to this divine principle of mentoring. And the word is mentoring. There's ing, it's present continuous tense. That means you have to build a relationship, and you don't outgrow this principle. Okay, so I just wanted to speak into that. How has mentoring fast-tracked your journey being a life coach?
You know, that's a very good question. I realize that a lot of the time we like to admire, but we don't like to align. We like to admire things, but we don't want to align ourselves to what creates for that manifestation. So these are the times where you see people post other people's videos and they're admiring them. But when you look at the person who's posting that video, they don't do anything near what these guys are doing. You don't commit yourself to the kind of routine and the kind of lifestyle these other people are doing, and you expect to manifest what they're manifesting. So you find the disparity in mentoring as well. That what happens is that we just admire from afar and try to wiggle our way through whatever it is we are looking at to manifesting what we want. Now, this is the route to mentoring. This is the route to mentoring, which a lot of people still will not want to agree on. When you want to get mentored by someone, first thing you've got to do, you've got to die to yourself. You have got to die to yourself.
Die to yourself.
Why do I need to die? I mean, come on. I mean, he's a human being like I am. I mean, I just want to learn a few things. I mean, he's not a God. I'm not saying he's a God. But listen, you cannot be mentored and still be alive to your own desire. So let me give an example. I have a few people who, come to me and say, I want you to mentor me. What they're actually asking for is, I want you to give me a platform. That's what they're asking me. I want you to introduce me to your network.
Your network.
I can't give you the platform because, number one, we don't operate on the same capacity. So I can't give you a platform. Never. Number two, I can't introduce you to my network because you have not earned the right to have access to these people. Because network is about what price you have paid to gain access. You haven't paid the price, so I can't give people's phone numbers. So what people say these days when they say, come and mentor me, is come and give me the platform. Come and introduce me. Come and give me the spotlight.
Yeah.
So what they want to do is they want to come with their own stuff and take advantage of your own platform and move ahead. And if that is your goal, then you don't need a mentor.
When you need a signboard.
Thank you. You need a signboard to show you the way. That is the way go. Sometimes it's very hard for you to lay your own desires aside and align to somebody else's desire, someone else's vision. That is still the principle even till today. It hasn't changed. Listen, if Elisha was still doing what he wants to do, he's still in his own ministry, Elijah will be looking at him. It's okay, no problem. We're doing. And then he'll be surprised that Elijah didn't give him the mantle. I wouldn't give you the mantle when I know you didn't align, you didn't follow.
Yes.
I wouldn't give you the mantle when I know you didn't spend time committing to what I know, what I can do. So you find that vacuum, that breach, that gap in mentoring. People cannot be adequately mentored because they still want, listen, what you have to do. So let me give you a good way to get the best out of mentoring. When you come to a mentor, you see all the things you want to do, put it in a cooler and write till further notice. I tell you, write further notice. And what you should do to the mentor, say, what can I help you to achieve? Now, this is how life works. You may think, oh, you are giving up everything. No, what you did was you put your vision in what I call an incubator.
Wow.
You see what happens when a child is born premature? When a child is born premature, they're put in an incubator. Listen, your vision at that level cannot survive. So what your mentor will do for you is to help you to see that the best thing for your vision is to be in an incubator.
It will be incubated.
So what will be giving, so what is giving that vision life is the plug you plug into your mentor's vision. So
wow.
When you plug to your mentor's vision, you are indirectly taking energy into your incubator.
And life into your own vision.
I've never seen anybody who truly served anybody. I don't care how long it is. I've never seen anybody who truly served a mentor and came out with nothing.
Wow.
Even though they didn't lay hands on you, even though they didn't say anything publicly, there is a way life will create the same opportunity that your mentor enjoys. He will create it for you. It is an unspoken power.
Yes, it's a law.
So
it's
I want
a
to encourage
flawless law.
Young people, if there's anybody you see that you admire, listen, put your vision in an incubator and say till further notice, go and learn. What are these people doing that you need, that you can help them with? And as you're helping them with, you will find your own. Your own will be strengthened. Wow. In fact, listen, you will achieve more in less time than you would have achieved on your own.
Yes.
Yes. Listen. Last 2 weeks, I was privileged to be on, with Jimmy Tewe. He took me for my biggest training and consulting work ever, NLNG. Last week, I flew 7 times, all expense paid, lodged in the best places. We were in Bonny Island, meals. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten that on my own, but I got it on the back of a mentor. That is the power. I left everything I'm doing. I said, listen, your own till further notice. You can't be doing your own and be doing your mentor's own. No, listen, that's pride. Put yours away. Keep it down and focus on what he's doing. If you help your mentor achieve his success, listen, life will
accelerate your own success.
To accelerate yours.
It's so okay. Let me just paint a simple analogy for any young person watching. From everything Mo has said tonight, just see yourself as somebody standing at the bus stop. You have transport fare that can only get you to where you're going to, but can't get you back. Your mentor is like somebody who has a car, who has fuel in his tank, but he also wants to do some work on his laptop while he is going to where he's going to. But he can drive, but he would rather meet somebody who would relieve him of that driving responsibility, so that while that car is moving, he's achieving more in that vision. It will, number one, if you offer your driving services rather than go hike a bus or book an Uber, number one, you save your transport fare, you get behind the wheels, you are accelerating both your mentor's vision and you're also getting to your own destination not at your expense. But it will cost you your ego and your pride. And those are the two things that delay a lot of people.
It will even cost you your time.
Yes. So because you might even miss your way. You might even miss your way on your own. But your mentor has proven results, has a track record, a network of people that are playing at that top level. And it's such a great wisdom. And, the power of following a trusted mentor cannot be exhausted in this short live video. So let's go to the second to the last question here. I would like you to share 4 simple strategies. You've shared a lot already, but can you just encapsulate it into 4 simple steps that anyone watching this can apply this month of March? You know, I love this month. It's called March. It's a verb, March. That's do something. Go forward. Action word. Don't procrastinate. Don't overanalyze. There's this syndrome of analysis paralysis. Some people admire their business plan to the point whereby dust comes on it. And because they're looking at the business plan, like, something is wrong with this plan. Let me change this. Let me change this. You planned your business when dollar was to naira was 100 naira to $1, and now naira dollar is now 750 to a naira. You've not executed anything. So give us 4 practical strategies to move our potential to the edge, and also to exhaust. I love that definition, and exhaust our capacity at our current level. For everyone watching this, there will be something to apply immediately this month.
All right, thank you. Good question. Let me do it very quickly. So I'm writing a book, my book on achieving top performance. So I shared the 4 framework that will help you achieve top performance. I've taught it everywhere. I've taught top performance. It's simple. It's 4 things. So the 4 things that you're going to have to take seriously, and you're going to have to commit to ensuring that you're on top. Number 1 is your mind. You cannot achieve top performance without actively ensuring that your mind is renewed. A top performer is a top thinker. So you've got to be able to ensure that your mind has the right deposit. If you are going to change anything on the outside, it's going to start with things on the inside, and it starts with your mind. Number 1. Number 2, you've got to take advantage of your emotions. So why emotion? Because whatever is in your mind affects your emotions. Your thoughts affect your emotions. See, don't let anybody tell you that your emotions are based on the external. Your emotions are also based on the internal, things that are in your mind, the interpretations of your mind, words, sights that come into your mind affect your emotions. So you cannot put yourself at a vantage position if you're emotionally unstable. You cannot be at a top player if you are emotionally unstable. If you take things too personal, if you get angry, I've seen people get angry and they destroy their opportunities, and they destroy their bridges, they destroy their network because of emotions. You can't get people to get you to act a fool if you truly were going to be a top performer. A top performer is one who has his emotions in check. You are a good manager of your emotions. All right. See, your emotions are stirred up only with the things that you allow incubate in your mind. So let me give an example. Somebody went to a doctor and did a test, and the doctor said, "Oh, you have HIV." And the person was immediately sad, crying, goes home. For the past 1 week, did not eat, lost weight. And the hospital called him again and said, "Oh, we are sorry. That was a wrong diagnosis. You are not the one with the report. You are not HIV." And immediately, happiness, joy. What changed his emotions? Mind. Because the mind interprets the word as HIV, death. The moment the mind sees death, emotions of sadness. So you have got to be able to manage what you interpret in your mind, what you allow in your mind, what words you hear, what things you see, what environment you live in. That's number 1. Number 2 is your emotions. Number 3 is your energy. The moment, the moment your energy is down, oh, thank God, let's go. Your moment your emotions is wrong, your energy will go down. Have you noticed every time you have the wrong emotions, you lose energy? Have you noticed?
Yes.
Every time you have a very bad emotion, you lose energy. If you are sad, you lose energy. Simple. If you are discouraged, you lose energy. You cannot be a top performer if you are losing energy. Now, many people think also energy is also about the physical. No, energy is also about your mental state. Listen, I've read an email of a disgruntled staff, okay, of a staff that was not too happy, a staff that was not too excited about work, and I read an email of that staff, and I could immediately tell the boss, I said, listen, do you know why this person is writing this? This staff is not happy with their work. Yeah. This staff is not happy. The boss had a conversation, and he found out that this staff is not happy at home. He has issues at home, issues with his wife, he's owing house rent, and so his emotions have impacted on his energy to the point that it is even very visible in his emails. His emails are so watery, so depressed. You can feel the low energy. You can feel it. Listen, anytime you are doing anything, people can feel your energy. Now in our today's world, we don't even call it energy, we call it vibe. There's a vibe. You can find that this person is discouraged, is depressed. There's something pushing that person's energy, that person's strength. Is the energy. And the reason why the energy is the way it is because there is a negative emotion. And the reason there's a negative emotion is because there is an interpretation of a deposit in the mind. So you can see how this impacts from the mind to the emotion and to the energy. Guess the last impact, skill. Listen, I don't care how skillful you are, the moment your mind is impacted, the moment your emotion is impacted, no matter your energy is impacted, the person that used to display wonderfully well will just all of a sudden perform woefully. Wow. All of a sudden, woefully. You can see it on the football pitch. When players have low energy, they are not able to do the skills. They're not able to perform with the kind of skills they usually want.
It happened to even Cristiano Ronaldo.
It happened to him.
Yes, in the last few games for Manchester United, if you notice, because of everything that was going on between him and the coach, his mind was no longer stable. Ronaldo could not score goals anymore. Even at the World Cup, you could see that his emotions were all over the place. He was getting upset. He walked out, his energy was low. But now, see the same man 6 months after the World Cup in the Saudi Arabian League, the smiles are back, the energy level is higher, and then the goals have started coming back. In the last 3 games, he has scored 6 goals.
Because he's beginning to get stability in these areas. In your mind, your emotion, your energy, and then you can see in your skill. Listen, I don't care how skillful you are. Listen, if you allow life to get you to interpret your challenges the way it wants you to interpret it, immediately it will reflect in your emotions. And the moment you allow your emotions to run wild, it will impact on your energy. And once you start giving low energy, your skill will be valueless. You see, listen, it will be the same person on that platform speaking, but you can tell this is, in fact, you will go to the person and say, this was not your best day. What happened? And the person will say, today's not my best day. You can even hear people say, oh, today was not your best day. Today was your worst day. The reason is because the skill was overwhelmed through the impact of these 3 layers. Now, even on the skill, there are 3 things you need to do with your skill to truly get you into the position of a top performer. Number 1, you need to know your skill set. Very important. When I write the book, you can read it. You cannot be a top performer without understanding your skill set. Everybody has a skill set. You must understand your skill comes in form of sets. Okay, everybody has a set of skills. Now you must define one particular skill that I call the Goliath slaying skill. Everybody has the capacity to develop what I call the Goliath slaying skill. All other skills are good. They are good, but there's one skill that will bring you to the limelight. There is one skill that will cause people to recognize your value. That's one skill. Yes, there's one skill. And you have to find that skill by thoroughly committing yourself to using or displaying whatever opportunity comes. It's opportunity that allows you to test which of your skill is a Goliath slaying skill.
Wow.
Number two, you must bridge what I call your skill gap. So when you find out the skills that you have, and each of your skill has what I call a proficiency level. Each of your skill has a proficiency level. You must find a way to bridge your skill gap. So for example, every speaker has a proficiency level. When I was in 2010, 11, I wasn't proficient the way I am right now. Because over the years, I have developed, I've committed myself, I have experienced, I've done it over and over again. So my proficiency level has increased. It's not the same with someone who's just starting, who just started yesterday. So you must always, as you journey, you must find a way to say, listen, I am good at this thing, but I need to be great. I don't want to be comfortable saying, oh, he's just a good speaker. I need to be the great speaker. I need to be the speaker that everybody prefers to invite. I need to bridge that gap. So you have to look at the things that you need to do to become a master in that level. The third thing you need to do is what I call your skill net. Your skill net. If you are a top performer, net. Your skill net. So let me explain this to you. Peter was a fisherman, right? He has a net. And when he threw his net, he caught many fishes. Now, here is what it is for you as a top performer. Your skill has to have the ability to transmit and transfer value to multiple types of audience. To multiple types of audience. That means you must have an appeal, not just only to your industry. If people say, oh, I like him just only for events, you are not building a skill net. Your skill net must transcend your locality, your industry, your area of calling, and it must find appeal to even people that don't even understand your industry or your area of specialization. Your expertise must be found useful to people outside your area of niche. It must be found useful. If not, what will be is that you will only be what we call a local champion. That means if I'm doing anything in Nigeria, if I bring it to the United States, people in America should say, this is value. Not just all in Nigeria. If I take it to South Africa, people should say, come, this skill is value. Many people right now, the reason why they are not being top performers, or they're not even on their journey to top performers, is that they're so satisfied that the value that they're offering or they're transmitting is only affecting the people in their locale or people in their area of specialization. But you find that when you take these same people out of their comfort zone, you find that they don't find an appeal. People don't find them interesting. People don't recognize their value. It's because these guys did not build their skill net. That's why you have a lot of conversations about going global. The central focus of going global.
Hold on. This book, all of this that you have said, is being written in a new book you're about to launch. So don't release everything yet. Just hold on, please. Don't release everything yet. But I want you to, can you give us by faith, and I'm putting you on the spot now, can you give us a release date for this book, Achieving Top Performance? But then, before you do that, I would like you to talk about your latest brainchild. See, listen, before you answer this question, I say this many times when I'm speaking to men, when we're talking about how to preserve your name, how to preserve your name. You know, traditionally and in time past, especially in Africa, Nigeria to be precise, there were men that when their wives give birth and they tell them she gave birth to a baby girl, rather than rejoice, they become very sad. Some of them even walk away and go into the bush and stay there looking for antelopes, and they won't come back home in the Stone Ages. The ones of this time will just go to the bar and drink and watch football with their friends. And the reason they do that is because they felt as a male, as a man, the way to preserve your name is by giving birth to male children. So I disabuse the minds of men and young people that by telling them that, see, the way to preserve your name, one is to find your purpose, the core value God put inside of you, and then you produce your brain children, from that discovery. Create products, create services, create value that will serve humanity. And you can patent those ideas. You can, so you just released your first brainchild a few months ago, and we're privileged. My wife was privileged to be part of that production process. Doing some free advertisement for my wife. For anybody that wants to, you want to bet your book, just send a DM to this handle at favor_etiquette_diva for Book Smart Services. Now, so that book you published, I want you to talk about it in 3 minutes. Yes, show it up to our audience. Now that's business. The first book you should have read. What's that? I like that statement. Can you just tell us about the book?
It is the first book you should have read before you started out as a business entrepreneur. So
I like that audacious claim there.
10 chapters devoted to strategic insight on brand positioning, marketing, selling, and closing sales. You see, I realize that while many people have businesses and while many people run businesses, many of us are not in business. Wow. Many of us are, because we did not take out the time to outline several critical things that are necessary for us as an entrepreneur. So as I was reading the story of Jacob and Esau, I mean, a lot of people have said a lot of things, but I saw 10 remarkable insights in that story that will help any new entrepreneur take advantage and begin to build an enterprise. So in this book, I mean, I spoke about competition. I spoke about making offers. I spoke about creating an irresistible product. I spoke about strategies of selling. I mean, this book should be used as a textbook in business schools. I mean,
entrepreneurial development centers.
Awesome. So
there was a chapter you spoke about. There was a chapter, because I've read some this manuscript. There was a chapter you spoke about negotiation, the power of negotiation, which deals largely on perception. One of the problems that many people have is that they don't value the value that they ought to value. So the way they sell that value to people, they belittle that value. So when somebody comes for it, some of them are even surprised that somebody sees the value in them as valuable. So they poorly market that value. And that was what happened largely to Esau in that conversation. He didn't value his birthright. He said, give me this porridge right now, otherwise I'm going to die. So your last advice tonight to someone who has been sitting on the fence: should I pursue my purpose, or should I just go with the flow? Should I just hide this idea till I have hammered? Let me go and pursue an adventure in making money first, so that I can come back in 5 years' time. My bank account is loaded. Then I can now begin to pursue God's purpose. Or I'm in paid employment. I live a comfortable life. I can pay my rent. I can afford 3 square meals. I can afford to buy an iPhone. But there is an uncommon dream inside of you. You know it like you know your name, but you know you're not yet living in it. I wanted to speak into the minds of such individuals before we round off for tonight. Why they ought to match forward to pursue God's purpose for their lives, and why that has to be done with a sense of urgency before we round off tonight.
Okay, so if I were to tell anyone this, it means that person is not actually ready to live a life of relevance. I will not tell anybody this. That's what you said. I will not tell anybody this. What I will tell you is this: God has put a mechanism in everybody, and that mechanism is designed such a way that at a particular time, that mechanism will produce something. It will inject something into your system, and that thing it will inject into your system is what you will be grateful for in your lifetime. And that thing it will inject is not something you are proud of. It's not something you want, but it's something you need. That thing is called what's the word now? Dissatisfaction. There's a mechanism that God has put in you, and I'm saying this in every one of you. A particular time will come, that mechanism will inject something in you, and that thing will produce what I call dissatisfaction. Now, that dissatisfaction is all you need. It's all the motivation you need to help you go in search of the life that God expects you to live. So, if there's somebody here who says, "Oh, I've not found my purpose," you have not gotten to the point where, with all the money in your bank account, it's no more relevant until the point you start asking yourself, "Why am I on earth?" A time will come, all the accolades you have will not make any meaning to you, and you will be in search of true meaning. And that's when the mechanism have produced that. Until then, you will keep on looking at other people and say, "What are they saying? What this thing about purpose? It's not just to make money and enjoy life." Listen, okay, so let me give you this as I wouldn't normally say, but I would tell you because somebody needs to hear this. In school, I switched from science to arts. So I was a science student.
Wow.
So I switched to mass communication. And mass communication is an art course. So you need to have your literature and government. Watch this, we hear this. So I said, "Well, I don't need this." My lecturer told me, said, "Make sure you go and make your literature and government. So go and sit for WAEC again before you finish 200 level." I didn't listen to him. I got to 300 level. Then at the end of 300 level, I was like, "Oh, I'm not done with the government." I said, "Don't mind. It's not a problem." So when my lecturer saw me in 400 level, he said, "Have you made your literature and government?" I said, "No." He said, you won't be able to go and do masters though." I said, "I don't need masters, Joe. I mean, I see people succeeding, they don't have masters. I didn't think I needed it." So I collected my results. After a while, I've done stuff, I've done certifications, and all of a sudden I felt there's more I need to do. There was a yearn, there was a vacuum, there was more. And then I remembered, you don't have literature government, you can't do masters. It got to a point where I was dissatisfied with what I was doing and needed to do more. So there's a time life will put you in a position where you will yearn for more. That is the time you will start looking for solution. That is the time you start looking for true meaning. The next level. Now I can't do masters until I sit for work, and I'm thinking, well, that means I have to just forgo this thing because. So the moral of the story here is, you can't really motivate anybody until they have been injected with that serum from the mechanism. You cannot really push anybody until they've gotten to that place, until they have seen life tell them, "Listen, all this is nonsense. All this you have done is good, but it has nothing to do with your purpose." Then they will start deliberately positioning themselves to a position where they can achieve their purpose. until then, whatever we tell people who haven't gotten to that point, this one is like a waste. It's like telling a child,
it will be like
go to school, and they say, no, I don't want to go to school. And they grow up, and all their mates have gone to school, and they find out that, you didn't go to school. Then they'll start looking for the school. You need that thing to kick in. Listen, even people who have gotten their life so good, they've good jobs, good stuff, all of a sudden, I mean, I was in a coaching class, and one of our participants, she was crying in the coaching class. I was looking at her like, why are you crying? You have you have a good life. She said she had been working in a bank for many years, and recently she just quit after about 16, 17 years, and she was crying. And our coach was, hilarious, and I was asking, why are you crying? She said, I've wasted my life. Everybody was like, what? I mean, people are trying to have a job like yours. She said, no, it's not about a job. She said, all of a sudden, she felt she had wasted her life.
Her life.
Felt that, she was living the dream of her parents. Her parents wanted her to become a banker, work in the bank. But said, that's not what I want to do. She felt so unfulfilled. She said, I like, Jesus, are you for real? Yes. That is the kind of person that has found their reason for living. They have found the need to reposition to fulfill purpose. Listen, until you get to that point, no matter of pushing will help you.
Yeah. And that just corroborates my first point before you came live tonight, that purpose is not just finding what to do for a living, but find what you are willing to die for in order to live. Something you are willing to die for in order to live. Thank you so much, Coach Mo. This is one of the most resourceful conversations I've had with you, with any, some of the definitions you gave tonight. It just further establishes that truly you are called for this, you are graced for this, you've invested time studying this, and I look forward to the physical manifestation of days whereby we're going to have conferences across Africa together, doing purpose conferences, top performance conferences in different cities in Africa. It's going to happen because we are moving gradually with God at a pace of grace, impacting lives every day. Thank you so much. Please tell the audience where they can get your book, they can get your book at the moment.
So my book is on Amazon right now. It's on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. You can order it if you are outside Nigeria. If you're in Nigeria, I think the best is to use Seller. So you can get the e-copy on Seller if you like reading e-copies. So we printed very few limited physical copies, as big as this. This was given to company CEOs, HRs, but we haven't released the one for the general public yet. So we are doing a reprint by end of this month. So physical copies will be ready end of this month into April. But you can get the e-copy on Seller and Amazon. Yeah, you can do that.
All right. So that's it, people. Go invest in your mind. You must mine what is on your mind. Let me say that again. You have to mine, M-I-N-E. Mine it. Mine what is on your mind, because there's a treasure in your mind. And when you empty your wallet into your brain, you have not lost your money. So don't only buy food. Don't only buy food this month of March. Buy good books. Mo has one if you're an entrepreneur. I also have Finding Your Career Path on Amazon and 10 Laws of Self-Discovery on Amazon. So this is the month for you to march to the top of your industry, exhaust your present capacity, get to the edge of your potential, and leave that valley of indecision. Because indecision is still a decision not to make a decision. Thank you so much, Mo Oladapo, for joining me tonight on Head to Head. And we know that everyone that watches this will move ahead in their journey to a greater version of themselves.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
God bless you, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. This video will be saved on my IG, on my Instagram handle at Mr. Purpose. So you can watch this at your convenient, we're also going to transfer it to my YouTube channel, Mr. Purpose International. That's Mr. Purpose International, INT''L. Thank you so much, everyone that joined. Please send this video to your friends, but make sure you do one thing this month of March: exceed as you proceed. God bless you.